Oh no, Sashil. The new scholarships for students are here. We need to filter out which students are eligible for this scholarship. However, it's currently 11:55, and the due date is at 11:59. What are we gonna do?
No worries, Terrence. Let me introduce you the fabulous File Filter 2000. That's right. This app enables you to filter files by giving it criteria, and finally it outputs a filtered file according to your likes. Now, when we first enter our app, we are immediately greeted by the sign up page, as you can see here. In this sign up page, you have to fill up all the criteria, and you can't just simply click sign up. So now, once I click on a particular username and the email address, I have to give my password and confirm it. However, this app is very secure as you must accept to the terms of use of our the policies of our app in order to go on. So you have to first click the box and then sign up. However, if you already do have an account, you can simply click the login button here. So now let's imagine we do have an account, and let's go on to this beautiful website with maple leaves and so on, and where we can actually log in since we are a frequent user. So now the username we'll be using is admin, and the password we'll be using is secret password. So we can click on the option remember me, which enables us to use the same username again without having to type it out the next time we come back. So let's click on login. And the next page we are greeted immediately is the page where we filter the file. So the first thing I'll be doing is to choose a file. And as you can see here, I have some random files like a py, like a text file, but the only file which enables me to actually this app enables me to use is a .xlsx file, which is an Excel file, Microsoft Excel file. And this is something we have implemented so that users will only be able to choose the required file to be filtered. So now let's take a look at how this sample file actually looks like. As you can see here, this is how the file looks like. This looks like a common or maybe a school database with like a name, the person's math score, the class, the email address, and so on and so forth. So this looks like a common school database which teachers might be using, for example. So now, what this column does, it says which columns would you like to have in your output table. So basically, once I'm done filtering, which of these columns would I like to have in my filtered file? So, for example, I would only like the name, math score, and the science score. I can simply just put the name, math score, science score, and with a comma in between to separate them. However, as you can see here, if I would like to display all the columns, then I don't need to go through the tiresome process of going through of typing every single column, but instead I can just input a star sign to mark that I actually want all the columns. So now let's just go with name, math score, and science score. So these are the columns which I'll be looking forward to see in my output table. Second up, let's see which rows I'd like to ignore in my output table. So for example, what that means is maybe I do not want the student Major Stafford and all the way to, for example, Lamar Patrick. So from 1 to 9, unique identifier 1 to 9, I actually do not want these students to appear in my output table. Then what I simply have to do is see the unique identifier 1 to 9, and I just have to input that here, demarcated by a dash sign in the middle, to say 1 to 9, I actually do not want these rows to be in my output table. And then I'll simply click on add criteria. And as you can see, once I click on add criteria, you will be allowed to click on it again because we only want to allow the user to only have input one criteria at a time. So over here it says, which columns would you like to filter? So I actually want to filter the math score and the science score, which are these columns here. So let me simply type that in, separated by a comma, and over here it says, which criteria type would you like to choose? So as you can see here, this is the range of criteria I can choose from: maximum, keyword, minimum, average, sum, and average, range. So users can simply click on any of these to enable the criteria. So let me click, for example, let me click on maximum, and I'll be prompted here that I've actually indeed chosen maximum. And over here, another prompt is given to say exactly how to give this give the range. So what this basically does is, in the range I only want the maximum value to be in this range. So for example, let me type 80 to 90. So in the filtered file, I only want the maximum to be within this range and not above or below this range. However, if I want to change, if I suddenly change my mind, I do not want a maximum. I actually want a keyword, maybe a minimum criteria. I simply click on minimum, and I'll be prompted again to check that I actually indeed have clicked on minimum. And as you can see, the prompt has changed from maximum to minimum over here. I just have to click 80 to 90. But for now, let's just go on with maximum. So I'll simply put 80 to 90, and as you can see, it actually remembers your range from previous attempts, and all I have to do is click submit. And that's a very simple process of just barely 2 minutes of me filtering my file. And now, as you can see in the top part of here, we actually download our file. So once I click on download, you can see it's a zip file which has been downloaded to my file successfully. I'll click on it. Now let's see actually what kind of file this is. So now in this zip file, we downloaded as an output Excel file and a .csv file, sample.csv file. So let me go through with you what the output.xlsx file contains. As you can see here, this is the output file we got, and we have successfully managed to filter our file. As you can see, the maximum value range here actually only consists of values which are in between 80 and 90 included within only the math and the science score, and you also get the name as per what we actually wanted in our filtered file. As you can see here, these are the rows we got, and the names here aren't in actually any of the first 10 users, because we purposely said I want to ignore these students. So we have successfully managed to get the output file we desired. But what is the sample file which came along with this output file? So let's open the sample file. And as you can see here, this sample file is actually for you to actually download the criteria which you had initially typed. So this makes it much more easier for you to refer to actually the criteria type which you had chosen before, so that for upcoming attempts which you like to do it again, you actually don't need to keep on like memorizing your criteria, but instead you can simply just refer to this. As you can see, your maximum criteria was 80 to 90, and you only wanted these columns to be filtered, and you wanted these columns in your output table, so everything checks out, and you can always keep a sort of like a check that actually this criteria I've already done this criteria. Now if I want to go through the process again, I can actually avoid these, as I know that I've already keyed in these criteria. Now, and finally, we're greeted by a contact us website where you can simply just type in your name, email, your message, and just reach us and maybe give us some feedback as to how to maybe improve our app, for example. And you just click on send message, and ultimately this is going to be the final page of our app. Just a thank you website, which is a thank you site, which we would like to thank all our users for using our site successfully. So we've now come to the end of our presentation of what our app does, and we hope that it makes the process of filtering files much more smoother and much more convenient, rather than going to an Excel file and manually going through that a very tiring and arduous process of filtering the file. But instead, just by keying in just like a few words and a few numbers, you can filter your entire file. Thank you.